Welcome to our next adventure with Chemology 411, a podcast about anything and everything. Kim and her guests will take you behind the scenes, behind the story, or behind the bar. So sit back. Make sure your seatbelt is fastened, tray table in its upright position, all carry-ons stored under the seats. But for this adventure, electronic devices must remain on, as we are ready to take off on our next adventure. Introducing Kim Schultz and Chemology 411.
Welcome to episode 7. This is our holiday segment. We're going to talk about Small Business Saturday, when you put your Christmas tree up, holiday music, how much do you spend on gifts, and so much more. We will just see where this adventure takes us. I am Kim Schultz, and I am your adventure coordinator for this show. Let's say hi to my co-host, Dyson Harley. Anything exciting happening?
Oh boy. So I just came, let me tell you, I came from Burger King.
Whoa.
Okay, so at Burger King.
Wait a second, guys. He once again stopped for a snack. So let's talk about his snack. I'm sure he'll tell you what his...
asterisk.
Yes.
Hey, I'm on the way, but I might grab a snack on the way.
A snack, not a
snack.
Not...
So listen, I'm a man. So you don't get, when you're a man, like I'm a man, you don't get a Whopper.
Are you trying to convince yourself to repeat it?
You don't get a Whopper. You get 2 Whoppers. That's what you do. You get 2 Whoppers, especially because they were 2 for $6. But you get 2 Whoppers, and so yeah, I think they were Whoppers.
They were Whoppers.
I hope they weren't one of those Impossible burgers.
Oh, those Impossible.
Like you remember those old commercials where it's like, we switch this leading brand coffee with Folgers brand Super Duper blah 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 blah.
Right.
So, and here is what the guy's like, boy, that's just the best. That's the best leading brand coffee. That's my favorite. And that is absolutely this leading brand coffee that I am used to. It is magnificent, and it is a leading brand coffee for sure. It's definitely not any other coffee.
It's gotta
That
be.
is a coffee that I drink every day. Sir? Sir? What would you say if I told you this was actually Folgers Super Duper, whatever I just said earlier, coffee? Why, that's the best coffee I've ever tasted. That is it. Yes, in commercial, right?
Yep.
Except
so
now it's like
they're going to be on the news and they're going to say we ran out of real burgers. So the Burger King in Topeka, Kansas, only served Impossible burgers.
No. It's actually have 2 Whoppers, and it's like, what would I tell you?
Exactly.
What would you say, Tyson? Well, I tell you what, those Whoppers, I don't come here a lot, but when I do, these Whoppers are magnificent, delicious, and definitely Whoppers. And they'd be like, what would you say, Tyson?
What would you say,
if I told you that you just had the Impossible Burger twice? We tricked you twice. I'd be like, that is the best burger I have ever had. Oh my God, I'm allergic to plants. Dead.
And I'm died.
The last part was made up. None of that happened, but I just thought it was kind of but I did have 2 burgers. And speaking of which, Impossible, you know what's impossible about those burgers?
To eat them?
That you'll ever get me to order one. You're on track. It's the only thing impossible. I don't care. And the other thing, too, is, I really believe this guy's like, I'll be dumb as a monkey's uncle. That sure did taste like a burger to me. You sure tricked. I'm like, you're not a cowboy. Casting call Hollywood dude. I want to see that guy right before he had to cut that commercial. So that's not a real farmer with.
Is that the commercial for the Impossible Burger?
Yeah, where people are surprised.
What? Oh, it's kind of like
sure
that.
Does taste like beef. Well, I am just really stupid. I would not have guessed. I'm like, that's not. No. I bet you're wearing a tutu right before this scene. I don't even believe you. Anyway. So that was my Burger King episode.
Oh,
even though it
goodness.
wasn't much of one, I just had fun with it. So Anyway,
Yes.
yes, so glad to see you again. It's been quite a while. What are we on, like 7 or 8 or something like that, if you count episode 0?
Yeah, we've done
do our
8.
funny
We've
math?
done 8. Yeah, so we have been pretty darn dedicated.
And we're going to be talking about having a holly jolly Christmas.
Yes, exactly. Well, so on Facebook the other day, I saw one of our news stations made a comment about Small Business Saturday. And I was actually getting gas over at the area by my house the other day, and we have this Top City big sign that they take to all the events in our
Top City? What does that mean? Explain more. I'm from Vancouver.
It's Topeka, Kansas, but it's Top City. They call it Top City.
Nice.
But it's this big, colorful sign they take to all these events. And
It has hashtag at the front of it.
yeah, hashtag Top City. So I'm looking at it, and I'm on the phone with my friend Robin. I'm like, the Top City sign's in the parking lot. What's going on here? So when I get home, Facebook informs me that our mayor and the chamber was at that shopping center getting ready to announce and declare September, oh my gosh, November 30th as Small Business Saturday, which this has been going on since 2010 when American Express got this great idea to help the economy, and they probably had nothing to do with any kind of revenue or money or anything on their part, but they do a huge thing of trying to get people to go out because on Black Friday everybody goes out there and goes to Best Buy and Walmart and all those big places, but they said Saturday, which is kind of hilarious because we do our parade in this community on the Saturday after that, and I and my team always talked to the downtown people before this and said, let's do a Saturday shopping thing before the parade because it's a night parade. And they were like, that's a great idea. So we've been doing this. So this isn't like this great idea that like, let's invent it. We've been doing Saturday for years in this community.
So what was my thought real quick when I first heard Saturday? I thought, well, isn't that weird that they're just giving the Friday away? It's like, oh, the small ones, let that be an afterthought. You know, you're not going to use them on the actual Black Friday. And so my initial thought was, well, why? And it's almost like, well, gee, you're going to declare. So basically, by declaring Saturday, you've declared we don't expect you to use any small businesses on Black Friday, which is kind of odd. I hear what you're saying or what you said off air, and that's that. Well, most people are going to the big box stores.
Well, and a lot of it's family. A lot of the
yes, that's right.
And so, but this is where this is the trickery. This is the trickery. So the small businesses, and I'm talking the mom and pop businesses, they take Thursday and a lot of Fridays off. It's just family. Family comes into town and they need to get ready, and then they're going to open up on the weekend. But they take that day off because people aren't shopping them because they are getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and they're going to go wait in line to get into Best Buy when they open up and all that stuff. And then they get done shopping by noon and everybody goes home and goes to bed because they've been shopping all night long. And so it does make sense, but this is the
I would argue that there is an argument for it, but I would also argue there's an argument against it. If they're near the shopping areas, the other people are like, we're shopping today, and then you're not open. I might argue.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm right.
Right.
But initially, right away, it doesn't just make 100% sense that you should definitely close on that day either.
Well, and I think that those are the mom posh stores where they literally work in the stores and they don't have employees. Okay.
Sure.
And then so they the sale and the time and the family in town and all that stuff weighs out. But
your point being that does go towards Saturday really being a decent right day.
It makes more sense. But here's the thing: Small Business Saturday. You tell me. When you hear small business, what do you think that means?
Well, I think that would mean either owner, kind of operated by the owner, or it would be like they have local locations only, and we're talking, 3 to a dozen, maybe regional, but maybe not even that. When I say regional, a few metropolitan areas within the same 200-mile area. Or, I'm talking small business, I think, if you're talking retail, which is that what we're talking about. So we're talking this is Saturday, and for shopping, less than 30 employees or something like that, probably.
You're so wrong. See, I think that we have been in our brain. We are told small business, local owned, local business,
right.
And you go think of that first person that owns the little store and the little mall or the shopping
place,
like that, or like a little that have like little, I don't know, stuff in it. But here's a definition from SBA.
Small Business Association.
Depending on your industry, a small business could be defined as a business with a maximum of 250 employees or even a maximum of 1,500 employees.
So it sounds to me like they're saying business industry type, some as little as 250. So maybe that's retail, but that's still a lot bigger than we thought.
Right.
Whereas 1,500 might be somebody owns a plant locally, and that's 1,500 people.
Here's the thing, though, is they are privately owned. They're partnerships or they're sole proprietors. So they're an LLC, they're an S Corp. So that's kind of where the small business comes in. It kind of depends on the type of business. So there are businesses, I mean, when I think about small business, and they're declaring that on the 30th, what they're telling you is go to the homegrown, locally owned places on Saturday. But American Express, that is not what that whole thing was for, I'm sure. It was more for a marketing campaign for American Express to talk about small business, and we interpret it how we interpret it. And another bad thing about it is when they're making these laws and they're saying this is going to benefit the small businesses, these small businesses could have 1,500 employees. They're not benefiting the 5-employee businesses. That's not what they're really looking at. Those should have their own name, but I don't know what that would be. I personally call them homegrown, locally owned. So locally owned can be a franchise, or it can be a locally owned maybe in another city and they have a place in Topeka. But I call it homegrown, meaning the owner was here, it started here, and this is where it's at. So that kind of irritates me when they say 28.8 million small businesses in the U.S. take up for 63% of the jobs created over the last 20 years.
Is that Small Business Association site too, or something else?
That was WIBW. That was our news station that put that.
Yeah,
but
without defining more, we don't know. We don't know that.
But that was also, when I looked it up, they had gotten it from the web when I searched the website for But let me just go over just a couple definitions, and then we'll get into some holiday stuff. Because when we talk about small businesses, they can make up to millions of dollars. Like if you're in the retail trade, for 1/3 of all retail trade sub-industries, size standards are set at 7.5 million in average annual receipts.
1/3?
For 1/3 of all retail. Other industries are defined by 100 to 500 employee maximums. And these are just how they define an industry as a small business. And this was more likely going to be with taxes and all those little things like that.
Right.
So a real estate rental and leasing company, the maximum of 7.5 million to 32.5 million in average annual receipts. I would love to be that small business. $32 million dollars.
Right.
Small business. There's nothing small about that. Construction, maximum 36.5 million in average receipts. I could see that.
Lot.
But I could see it in construction.
Yeah, construction.
Because that's 36 $1 million houses. I don't think they do that, but anyway. So that was just a really quick thing on our Small Business Saturday. You've got your Black Fridays. You've got your Small Business Saturdays. Let's look at the small business.
Do you think some of it was the alliteration?
The alliteration. What do you mean?
Saturday, Small Business Saturday.
Oh, Small Business Saturday. I think so, and I think that they realized that the newspaper, the ads come out, everybody's plans out. Those small businesses are not in those ads. They don't have all the stuff to do that. And so, although people have been shopping small business, I think in 2010, it was just a movement. It was just trying to get it. And once again, it's like when we say shop local, and then someone gets mad at me because I go to another city and they're like, you should have been shopping local. I was shopping local. Like, I'm just not in the community that I live in, but we want people to come here. So the whole thing is go out and spend money, because that's what makes the economy turn around. I don't care where you spend it at. Just go spend some money when you're going to do your Christmas shopping. And do try to find your mom and pa's, but not just on Saturday. I mean, they're open all the time. So that's kind of what I have to say about that. On Facebook the other day, I said I feel sorry for Thanksgiving, because Halloween now, when I was a child, Halloween had a day. It was October 31st, right? Now it's the whole flippin' month. We've already talked about that. Parties start on like the 15th and it just moves on. You've got trunk or treats for 3 weeks. You've got 10,000 options to go to. And then all of a sudden you get to Thanksgiving, Thursday. And then Friday starts Christmas.
Hey, we get that Friday off. That's still a big deal, though.
Well,
A lot of people automatically get it the Friday off.
right.
So that's the saving
But
grace
that's
of
your
that.
starting Christmas. It starts Christmas. What are you doing on that day? People are putting up their Christmas
Stuff in
tree.
my face. Yeah,
Eating
hoping my
leftovers?
mother doesn't go, can you help me put... Yes, I can. And I love every second of it. Luckily, she doesn't have a large tree. Oh, that goes on to another
That's
topic.
a whole nother topic. But regardless, is as soon as Thanksgiving's over, the one day. And then we have all the people that are complaining about all these other people that they're not even part of their lives, about having to work on a holiday. But my number one
Thanksgiving, you mean.
for Thanksgiving,
The Black Friday.
but for Black Friday, everybody is outraged about it. But you know what they're not outraged about? When they're opened for dinner on Thanksgiving, because they need a place to go eat because they have their family in town, or being open on Christmas Day to eat out, because that's my largest viewership is about 10,000 people visit my website around Christmas to know where to go eat at. Nobody cares that the restaurants are open, but God forbid you
On
pull
Black
somebody
Friday.
away from their family Thursday night to go in and do retail. It just never makes any sense to me, because
Thursday day.
those people that are working retail are mostly hourly employees. And so they're already they would be missing 2 days of work with no pay. So they know what they get into.
Yeah.
So you know that you're going to have to work it. So maybe don't have that job if that's not what you want to do. So if you got that job and you're complaining about it, you knew.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, but some retail people, if the manager doesn't do things well, I'm thinking more, I've worked at 24-hour restaurants before. They never even try to make a plan on making consistent hours or days. So
Right.
it's like, well, geez, at least I know I'll get that day off.
Right.
But yeah, I agree. That's definitely selective outrage.
Well, yeah, I was going to say everybody gets all mad about it. It's like, oh my gosh. And they're like, boycott. And then there's like this thing that's like, these people aren't going to be opened up. And it's like, okay. Like, don't open up, because the other people are like, we're going to open up. And they were opening up. You get bored. You're at home. We don't have a large family. So for Thanksgiving, it's just my brothers, my mom, because my father passed away, my daughter, her husband, myself, and any scragglers if I decide to, bring someone over that doesn't have a family or doesn't have where to go. I'll bring them over there. Not very many people can survive a Schultz holiday. Yeah, our family. It's brutal. And so
I've heard stories.
So my mom, there's been times where
I mean from you. I don't mean out in the, just to be clear. It's not generally in the ether in the city about the Schultz family. I mean basically through Kim.
yes. So
And they've been fun stories.
But yeah, so we would go shopping. I mean, like, I think Half Price store, Gordman's at the time, was open. I think they opened up like at 6. And my mom and my daughter and I, we went to Gordman's one time. That's like 10 or 12 years ago because we were done. And this is, I think my dad even, my dad might even have been alive at that time, but it's always just been our little baby family.
The irony of the list of, well, look what we've done. We've let people not have to work that day, and this is the list. And then people are like, where's the list of the stores that are open?
Right. Where are we?
I need to go where it's open.
I think Tom said the other day that either Best Buy or somebody already released their Black Friday ad. It's already out. So like, you're not even gonna make people have to get the Thursday paper to be like, oh.
That was what some people did too. What prices?
Yeah,
because we do that at my Thanksgiving. Some people in the family would be like, "Oh, what are we going to look for tomorrow?"
Get the ads out. We all look through the ads, and there's nothing I need or buy. So anyway, so I feel sorry for Thanksgiving, and
poor Thanksgiving.
But reality is that's kind of how it is, and it keeps changing. Like they change the hours to where like now there's like 3 different sessions of like when you can get deals, and then some people aren't opening up that late, and then some people are opening up on Thursday, and then all of a sudden it goes, now we're not going to open up on Thursday. Well, I would rather it open up at 6 o'clock Thursday night and go in and work from 6 to like midnight than have to go in at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And then not be open at 3 a.m. and then close at midnight and then, do that kind of stuff. But reality is that's like the largest shopping day of the year for some people. That's a make or break for the not small businesses, evidently.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's my opinion on that. That's a little Kimology. Is first of all, if you don't want to work a holiday, don't have a job that has you work a holiday. Hospitals are open. Police officers are open. Taxi cabs are open. People are doing Uber on holidays.
There's no Black Friday at hospitals, is there?
No, there's not. I mean, there's
no
not like
special deals.
Nope.
Operation 75% off.
Anyway. Buy one boob, get the other one free. That might be a good one.
Can I just get the one at half price? No, you gotta get both.
You gotta get both boobs.
But I wanted it centered. It's not. That's weird. Anyway.
You're weird.
Thank you very much.
All right, guys, we'll be back after this commercial from our sponsors. Well, it's that time of the year when we are overbooked and not enough time in the day to get all the fun things done. Holiday season is here, and do I have a great way to help you connect with family, friends, and even clients? Greeting cards used to be huge before technology came in and made so many things very impersonable. Then my friend Cody Bateman came up with a great product that would bring sexy back. Oh, wait, that was Justin Timberlake. Cody brought back greeting cards with a twist. Using an app from your phone, tablet, laptop, or computer, you can make a personalized greeting card for less than $5, including the printing, the stuffing the envelope, and postage. You just download our app on your phone, set up an account, and start changing the world one card at a time. Now that alone is awesome, but it doesn't stop there. You can also send gifts, like brownies, jewelry, toys, and much more, just with one click. My team would love to show you how to use the app and get you started today. This is also a great business tool to help build relationships, so everyone needs this app on their phone. The app is free, and you only have to pay for the cards and gifts you send. We do have monthly packages that bring the total of your heartfelt cards down to around $1.50. So, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description of this podcast and get started today. You can also email us, and we will set up a meeting to show you how easy it is to send personalized greeting cards. You can also send us your mailing address in our Facebook page, Selfie Cards Matter. We will send you a card. Let us help you make this holiday season the best one yet. All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to start this episode with, I don't think it's my favorite holiday. I don't really celebrate holidays, but I think this is like the biggest holiday of the year, Christmas.
Traditionally, that's...
I mean, like...
Well, some people, when I was growing up, I would hear people go, Halloween's my favorite holiday. I'm like, what are you talking about? There's Christmas. You get stuff.
Like,
I don't
not
mean just candy.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, how is it not? How's not the biggest?
I mean, as a child, I think I loved Christmas. I loved it because I loved getting the gifts and I loved going through the was it the Sears catalog? And you would like...
Absolutely.
And then you get out the marker.
Speaking of things from another episode that you have planned, where we're going to be talking about things that kids these days wouldn't be used to.
Yeah.
The old catalogs.
They're missing out.
Man, those were awesome. Those were dream books.
Oh my gosh! And I think they were called dream books. I think Sears.
Oh my gosh! I think
they were the dream books, and you had everything from. I think it was Sears, and Sears didn't really have toys, but they had a whole toy catalog, and you ordered everything through this catalog, and then you would each get one, and then you would circle everything in it with a pen, and then you would hand it to your mother, and you'd be like, and my mom would open it up and like, everything is circled.
Mother, I have annotated accordingly.
Exactly.
Is that how you?
I'd be like, mother? I have numbered it as to the order of importance.
I have also added priority tiers. You'll see those in numbers with triangles around them. Exactly. Tier 1 being the highest priority. Right. Going to tier 1, which is, they're all high priorities, Mother.
Or my mom would go, why don't you just mark what you don't want? Now, a holiday story. So here is a holiday story, and then we'll start talking about the stuff we have on the list. But as growing up as a child, it was Frank and I. And so Frank and I are about 3 years apart. Christopher didn't come until 12 years later. So he didn't really get to be a part of this. But I was a tomboy, and I played outside. I loved to have doctor kits. I loved being a teacher. And my brother loved Barbies.
Barbies were cool, but for me it's because it's called action figures instead, not Barbies. Of course, you wanted your particular action figure, if sized properly, for street cred, to have Barbie as a girlfriend.
Right?
That's for sure.
So, did you had sisters that had Barbies?
Yes.
Okay. So, but you never had your own Barbie?
No.
Okay, well, my brother loved it. Besides the little Fisher-Price, little Peoples and stuff like that, because we had all that too.
Right.
But my brother loved the flippin' Barbies. And so we would sit down with our catalog, and he would say...
They were cool. I mean, they had all the accessories and the various, like, clothes coming out their ears and all these... cars and cases. Like my sister had the little pink cases, I think, that you put Barbie stuff in. It was like almost like a little lunchbox that had a snap on it.
It was a huge, fit the Barbie on here, and it had a little thing you hang up the clothes on the little hangers. I hate freaking Barbies. I hate those things. But Frank, so Frank wants the Barbies, and so he came in every year, and he'd be like this, Santa's not going to get me Barbies.
You're like,
and I was like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. Tell me what Barbies I need to ask Santa for. And I would ask him, and then I would give him the tomboy stuff, which were the doctor kits or the Tonka trucks for the sandbox and all that stuff. And we would ask Santa on our list, and my mom would be like, "Oh, you want some more Barbies?" And I was like, "Yes, because I love Barbies. I want the airplane this year." We had the mobile home, we had the airplane, we had those containers. I'd have to ask Frank what else Santa brought me.
I'm visualizing that you get this nice box that looks like a Barbie box, and inside it's empty, and it has a note that says, "Liars! Santa."
No, so we'd
worked every time.
We'd open it up, and I'd be like, "Yay, Barbies!" And then I'd look at Frank and I'd wink. And so then we would switch. And my mom wasn't dumb. She knew that,
Yeah,
but she
she's
just
like,
played. She
whatever.
just played along because she could physically see us playing, but we didn't know. So anyway, that's my one story. I'll have one more story at the end that I have to talk about our Christmas that is hilarious. But I still always tell people that my brother was in love with Barbie, and both of my brothers are gay, and so I never knew what gay was. I just knew that my brother loved Barbie.
There's a lot of straight boys that like Barbie too.
Well, that's for different reasons.
Just saying.
I really doubt that my brother ever had that reason for a Barbie.
Didn't they even have, maybe I'm thinking of some different, like, Cher or something, because remember there was a Cher one too. And there'd be a little stand so your Barbie could stand up with like her dress or whatever.
They had they had the whole little things that you'd put on there, and it had like a little clip that around the waist, and they would stand there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had it all.
We're going to talk about Christmas trees like we had listed?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So on Facebook, I asked people when they put up their Christmas tree. And so a lot of the answers were today, already have, last year. A lot of them were after Thanksgiving. And the reason I asked that is because of algorithms, and I wanted to get some answers to get my Facebook, and I knew that would be an answer, and I think I had like 70 different people telling me when they put it up. And so this consensus was after Thanksgiving, like after Thanksgiving weekend, which is always when we put ours up, which was always on the Friday, because I never shop on, whatever, do it Friday or Saturday, we would put up our Christmas tree.
I think growing up, ours would be sometime not long after Thanksgiving, but not now that we're away and we just go visit on Thanksgiving. A lot of time we try to help Mother get the Christmas tree up at that time before we leave that weekend.
From Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
My mother hasn't taken her tree down for 13 years. It's in her room.
It's just easier that
It is. She just pushes it in the corner. She literally lives in the house by herself, so she pushes it in the corner. She's like, if I take it down, I will not put it back up. And so I was like, okay. Nobody goes in. It's in the room where, like, we used to have the shag carpeting and you would have to rake it. And then it had the couch that no one was allowed to sit on. It's in that room. Now, I mean, nobody goes in there because it's just my mother. There's nothing in that room but a couch, our organ, and the tree. And so, so she never takes it down.
You had to rake.
Yes.
I never had shag carpet.
The green shag carpet.
That's
and then we'd be
awesome.
running around the corner. I'm like, who's on my green shag carpet? Like, how did you know? Get out the rake if you have people coming over. And you rake the carpet. Something that people will never know about. So anyway, but I like 4 weeks before Christmas. Mine is a month. If I'm going to get into that flipping closet and pull out all that shit, I mean, it is, if you open the door, if I can even get the door open, last year my house settled, I had to take it off the hinges to even get into the dumb closet. And then I'm going to take out all my camping stuff and all the crap. It's such a pain. It literally takes me an hour to put everything up. It takes me an hour to get it out and put it back. You know, with all the stuff that's in there.
Is it at least got the pre-built lights so you can just connect the sections and that's nice.
It's not even a big tree anymore because it kind of sits in my corner, but I will put it up when I get back from Branson. I'm going to put it up that weekend before Thanksgiving because I want it because Thanksgiving's like 28th or something like that this year.
Yes.
So I want it up I just want 4 weeks. And I like once I get it up, I enjoy it. But I'm just like, I don't want to open up that door. I don't want to get in the closet and get it out. I wish I had a bigger house to where I could just have a room that had it in there. I could just pull it out. But I'm a big girl. I'll do it. I'll get it done.
You'll have bigger rooms and shag carpet and everything.
Shag. I wonder if Shag's ever coming back.
Indoor rakes.
Indoor shag carpet rakes. So another thing that everybody likes to complain about during this holiday season, because we complain a lot during Christmas. Like literally everybody has all the stuff that they want, then they don't get what they want.
Guilty as charged. As far as what I think you're about to go to, but I'm not certain. Go ahead.
But like people on Facebook before Thanksgiving, before Halloween were mad because all the Christmas stuff was out, which makes sense because there's so much Christmas stuff. It just takes, to be a store, you have to pre-plan. But I'm not exactly sure why anybody would play Christmas music before in October. Like,
Right.
when did that start? Because people were like, I already hear Christmas music.
There's 2 other holidays.
What? So anyway, I like my Christmas music, but I like my Christmas music after I celebrate Thanksgiving.
Let me celebrate properly, even if not for very long.
But I'm not going to complain if someone is listening to it right now. Listen to your music. Like, I'm not going to, it's not something that's so high priority that I'm going to walk into a store and go, oh my gosh, get out my phone and say on Facebook, they're playing Christmas music. I can't believe it.
Record a video.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen to this.
This is ridiculous. So anyway, but I do like Christmas music.
You want to know about my Christmas tree?
Oh, I totally forgot about your Christmas tree.
So, yeah.
I was ignoring you because earlier I said, so when do you put up your Christmas tree? And he's like, I want to surprise you.
So the surprise is, have you ever seen a Christmas Story leg lamp?
Yes.
So, how about that when you think about it, kind of the bachelorish, non-traditional Christmas tree?
That's your Christmas tree?
Closest I ever get to a Christmas tree. I never put up a Christmas tree. I live by myself. I've got a cat.
The cat right there stops it.
Doesn't necessarily stop it. He's a pretty good cat. But I'm never at home during Christmas. I always go visit my mother. That's where all the presents. Do I really need to put up a Christmas tree?
I put up 2.
As a single straight man, do I really need to? Mm-hmm. Maybe if I was dating, because then it'd be like, oh, he's got his life together.
Like a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Yeah, I would have my turtleneck sweater. Perfect 5 o'clock shadow.
No, my friend Tom down in Kansas
I was
City.
an architect, but now I want to follow my dreams more closely. And that's to become a country singer. I don't even watch him.
Oh, he is such a liar. You just busted yourself. I don't watch it at all.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I
oh,
don't
you
watch
actually
it at all.
do. You
Yeah,
actually do think I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, boy.
He just said the plot of every Hallmark Christmas movie. Yeah. No, I put up 2 Christmas trees. I have a little baby one for downstairs because I'm in my office. That's where I'm at normally, and I have my one upstairs. But like I said, it's very minimal decorations. It used to take me 3 hours to put my tree up because I have about 250 Hallmark ornaments. And so I would get all the neighborhood kids over, and I'd take them each out of the box, and the kids would decorate the tree, and we make a whole big deal out of it. It's a huge tree. And then one year I was like, screw this crap. I put it in Rubbermaid containers, and it's underneath the stairs, and it's gonna be my retirement one day.
Well, remember, part of it for me is that I don't have a small place. It's like it's as though I live in
have
an
a small
expensive
place.
Yes, I do have a small place.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. It's like I live in a metropolitan area and I live in a chic little apartment that's expensive. Except those 2 things aren't true.
Exactly.
It's just a small. So there's really not very much room for a tree, and there's very little room for a tree. It just wouldn't be a good place to put it anywhere. Unless I literally move 2 chairs out of one room and put them oddly in
you
it.
can get like.
Well, I do have a small one.
Say, if you
so I could
just
put
get
that out, but then that's so small that
Yeah,
the cat could easily knock it over off of a table or something.
Oh.
Right? But I've got a little one where it's got the cute little decorations.
Yeah.
But I haven't put that thing up, and I'm not sure I ever did put it up after. It was like a hand-me-down. Like my mother had, okay, this is only a 3-foot tabletop tree.
So if I come over to your house and you have a Christmas tree up, that means you got somebody. You got somebody.
I just want to show her that I'm sentimental, and you'll see oh my gosh, on the back you'll see you're looking, oh, nice tree, gorgeous, and then you'll look at the very back, there'll be a tag that says Rent-A-Center.
Rent-A-Center, right?
$15 a month or whatever.
No, he's going to put it in his front window and trying to lure the women over to be like, oh, isn't that Tyson? I think he's single, but look at his Christmas tree.
He really has a big heart. So I have put up my leg lamp. I do have a leg lamp, but it's a miniature one.
Right.
The backstory is I've been in that play.
Right.
And a local playwright is who adapted it to stage. And so I've been in that play, and my dad also loved that. So after that play, I got the kind of miniature leg lamp. It's only about 2.5 foot tall, but otherwise it looks really nice. The leg lights up and everything. I say nice. Fragile. I mean, this is classy. I wish I... So anyway, that's part of the backstory, and I've always loved that movie. So I will put that up sometime.
Right.
But
You
I
need
haven't put
to.
up an actual Christmas tree in forever.
And last year, my friend Tom was going through all of his stuff, and he found his Christmas tree, and it was funny because this is before, he was like, I might put up a Christmas tree this year. And I was like, let's do it. Well, he goes to Wisconsin for Thanksgiving, so then he gets back, and then he's tired, and then it just gets to be busy, and he's like, maybe I'll put it up next year. And I'm like, do you even have ornaments for it? And he's like, well, I don't know what I have. I'm like, okay, so we need to go through this. We need to find this out, because you need, it does put you in the mood a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, because I just get so
nothing against
depressed
it. I
in
mean,
it.
if I had a family here, or if even we stayed in town to where,
Right.
sometimes people come to your place and do,
Right.
yeah, that'd be different.
Yeah,
I would put up, if I knew that, we were doing the family thing up here in this area, we go to an entirely different part of Kansas,
Right.
then it'd be like, oh, well, this year let's go to sister's house, and then next year we'll come to Tyson's house or whatever.
Right.
Then it would make better sense. But I'm just abandoned. Not only that, I go basically most of 10 days I'm gone, because I go from one place, come back usually for just a day or two of work, and take more vacation and go
Gotcha.
visit some other family. So I'm not.
So Christmas is big for you.
It's big as far as I take off a lot of days, and I go visit my family in 2 different places. Yeah.
Yeah, not for me. We go to my mom's house Christmas Eve. We open presents. We eat Mexican dish, usually.
There's something to be said for not doing,
And
not overdoing it, because
and-
if it goes, it can become a burden for people, especially
Right.
financially. If you're not
well,
careful.
and in our family, you don't have to buy a gift if you don't want to. I don't go out. I might spend. I think last year I spent $125 because I just didn't have any money. $125 on my girls' Christmas and my family Christmas. That's not. But they got really nice things because I shop during the year, so I get things on clearance, and we don't need a lot. And then some years when I have a bigger contract and I've got a lot of money, then I'm going to spend a little bit more money. If you don't give us a gift, if I don't get a gift from you, nobody cares.
You should always drop that immediately, because there are better things to have family little weird fights about than
Right.
whether or not someone who may not have been able to easily afford it gave you something that you really wanted,
Right.
or whether they just gave you something. Now the back end of that is, if you don't ask because you think, well, I don't want to have to impose. I don't want to impose. Is that the right word? Well, then you don't ask for stuff, and then they buy you stuff anyway.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I didn't really need that, but yeah, I don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. So,
Right.
So what you should do is just give plenty of small ideas.
Right.
Because it was probably stuff that you wouldn't necessarily get yourself, but you would love to have.
Right.
Something that's $20 that, you know what, I never have got that. I always would have liked it. And from now until Christmas, since I told them, I'll make sure I don't get it between now and then either.
Right.
So-
My mom takes us shopping. She takes us shopping and then she goes home and wraps it. So we usually kind of know what we're going to get, but she still wants us to have the unwrapping, take the pictures and all that kind of stuff. And then she'll go and she'll buy just random flashlights and just different stuff around the house that you just probably could throw some stuff away. And she gets us this Melaleuca lotion stuff. I've got so much of it.
So much.
And then I was like, you know what? I don't need any more.
It's so soft I can't even sleep.
Every year she would get me the lint roller. I was like, this dude, I got 5. I have no cats. I have no animals. I have no lint. I don't need any more lint rollers. And she's like, but I just pick them up, for everybody. And so we get that. But with my daughter, the way we do Christmas.
Hey, I haven't seen you in a long time. Need a lint roller?
Yeah, exactly. And here's a lint roller. So with my daughter, with holidays, now when she was younger, I always bought everything. But now that she's, 29 years old, I don't have the money, nor does she have the space for me to buy anything. So what she does is she does an Amazon wish list. She puts it on there of what she wants. And for like her birthday this year, I didn't buy her anything. I sent her a card, but I didn't buy her anything because she knows that she's got to tell me exactly what she wants, and she needed a pen. So for that. And then for Christmas this year, she is going to Florida with me in January. And I said, well, I will put $100 towards your ticket for part of your Christmas gift. And then just give me some little things and that you can open up. And she's like, she's fine with it. So we're not that materialistic. And I don't understand when people are complaining about what they get or they're buying all these gifts that they can't afford. Not because they want to. It's because they don't want to deal with the wrath of their family and people that like try to outdo everybody. Well, I'd be outdone every year because, I mean... We find one of my brothers does local, so we always get local stuff that he does. He stole it from me because I started it, and then he stole the idea from me. But now I don't have to buy it for myself. He buys it for me. So
nice.
Anyway, so all right. So we talked about Hallmark movies.
Yeah. So it kind of goes. Sometimes it goes along with this next topic. Go ahead.
So Top 10 favorite holiday movies. Do you have any? Do you?
I'm not really someone who watches a lot of movies. Some people kind of watch it on background, but obviously that number one. I made a list, but a lot of them weren't necessarily, this is definitely my second, I just listed some movies.
Uh-huh.
And top one is A Christmas Story. I know now it's on the marathon every year, but I try to catch it at least once, and sometimes I'll just leave it on.
Right.
So that's really my big one. I really love Jim Carrey's Grinch.
Oh, yeah.
I really did really like that one. As far as other ones I'm okay with, one of these semi-associated movies where they go, yeah, it's kind of a Christmas movie because the context of it is generally Christmas, but has nothing to do with really Christmas. Die Hard. I love Die Hard.
That was at the top. That was
who
at the top of my
Who doesn't
list.
love that?
Yeah.
Also, Home Alone, I'd say yes, it's Christmas-y. It's another one that's just kind of around Christmas. And Jingle All the Way is yes-ish.
That's a good one. Is that...
Speaking of, it had the great Black Friday moment. Because that's where they first tried to get the doll, the action figure,
doll.
Right?
Yeah.
And
is
like
that Arnold Schwarzenegger's one, right?
Yeah, and it had Sinbad, I think. Because he
Sinbad,
was the other one.
he was the postman.
They were the one fighting over whatever
the superhero doll.
Yeah, superhero doll. So that one I like too. What's this one here? Not again. Oh, Miracle. Whenever I see Miracle on 34th Street, I like it, but it's not like, ooh, my favorite. And same thing with
the new one or the old one.
The old one.
Yeah,
I didn't even know there was a new one. Good. Elf. I know a lot of people like Elf. Whenever I tuned into parts of it, I liked it. And I think it's kind of a new classic.
Yeah.
But I've hardly ever seen it. I don't really know Santa Claus or Christmas with the Crunks.
Cranks. Christmas with the Cranks.
The Crunks.
The Crunks.
Oh boy. And then White Christmas, I like that all right. Classic Bing Crosby White Christmas.
Yeah.
I was also on that show too. That was good. Nope. I can't see what that's about. But, Polar Express. Never liked it, but never really, really watched it. Always just kind of creeped out from the beginning. So
Polar Express is so good.
Is it? Yeah. I never really watched it. I just thought the animation looked a little creepy, and I just never watched it.
You should. So, you really should, because it just has such a good message. I mean, it's not a kiddie show. It's got the different, because it's got a different technology when it comes to it. But it's a good show. It's just a good feeling show.
I should watch it then.
Yeah.
And there's another one. Did you see this on your list in show prep? Where it shows up more than once, and it was one of the first slasher movies. It was called Black Christmas.
I saw that when I was looking up the different movies. I did not. I've never seen any of that. I've not seen.
So it was like 1984, a slasher movie. So that's interesting. And the tagline was something along the lines of
If this movie doesn't make your skin crawl, it's on too tight.
I'm like, okay. So, yeah, Black Christmas. And anyway, it's being remade and it's coming out this year.
Oh.
Like, who knew?
Wow.
So but honestly,
Wow.
I didn't know about it.
I didn't know
before.
about that one
I just
either.
saw it
Yeah.
on the list. Then if we can also go to potentially into specials, I'd love to talk about specials. You know, like Christmas specials too, where you wouldn't really say movies. But one other one, and I wondered if you were interested in this. Fox has been putting an advertisement out about this. It looks like an interesting family dynamic, you know, when people come home for Christmas, and it looks like it's going to be hilarious, but it's probably also going to be touching. It's like a 6-part, each one's 30 minutes. It's called The Moody's. Has Dennis Leary and Elizabeth Perkins. It's like an ensemble cast. They've been advertising it lately. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's good. Supposedly it's based on some British show.
Okay.
I don't understand whether the British show was one movie and they're adapting it into a 6-part miniseries or whatever it is.
Right.
But it's going to be on 3 different dates, December 4th, 9th, and 10th. And each day it's going to be 30 minutes back to back, which is kind of weird. Like, why did you do it that way? Maybe it's just to keep the flexibility for later if it becomes... You know, if it becomes like a holiday tradition.
Right,
That might be why, because you could throw a 30-minute in just like you could a Rudolph or, you know, or maybe not Rudolph, but some of those other shorter ones. So I thought that would look kind of interesting. I don't know about you. Then,
I had not heard about it, but I don't see any of those commercials.
So the other thing is, what did you talk about here in the last couple episodes that you just introed with? Your Hallmark movies, right?
Oh, yes.
And you said they have a lot of movies, and you said Christmas was... I had no idea. I looked this up because 17 new movies this year that
40.
are holiday.
40.
A holiday?
40 new Christmas ones. Yeah, they do.
Okay, well, I went to an article and I had a list and I counted, but that was like way back in September or August, they said.
And they play them on 2 different channels. So you've got Hallmark and then Hallmark Movies and Mysteries. So there's double channels.
I mean, what?
Yeah, I'm
That's
telling you.
a lot of movies.
I know. I
And
got
one
a
of them's
lot of
called
watching.
Sense, Sensibility, and Snowmen. I mean, I guess they've
got like 9 billion movies. They've got to come up with something. I don't know. Those are TV. Those are.
So what did you mention? You mentioned.
Okay, so first of all, I always say Die Hard because I love that show, but that's one of those controversial arguments.
Does it really belong on
Is
this
it
list?
Christmas?
Yeah.
Is it not Christmas? It's a Christmas party. It's not a. I mean, it's a Christmas party, and it's about a family fighting, even though they're divorced.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
if you want to
Christmas
hook me in on those action movies, have this like one of these like that's the wife you want to come. I think it may have been Renee Russo.
Yeah. I think
Anyway, if it was at the peak of her Renee Russo-ness.
so. Right.
And that was just like slim, pretty, but almost like handsome type pretty. I don't mean that.
Right.
I say it in the way of when I say a handsome woman, which is not a misuse of the term.
Right.
I mean, it looks like almost like you think this woman probably has leadership qualities and she would look great in like a queen's, whatever the heck queens wear, and that she could probably run a country.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm not saying Renee definitely hits that, but just you want me to draw me in, have this guy be trying to make it through his day to get
Right,
back to
get
his
back to her.
wonderful wife at home.
Ex-wife, wasn't it ex-wife?
It may have been
I
in
think
that
they were
one.
ex-wife.
Yeah, I know,
and then
you're
he still
right,
was
you're right.
fighting for his ex.
And I don't know if it was Renee Russo, but it's one of those where just gorgeous former models. She's just a housewife now.
Yeah.
Just a housewife.
Well, no,
Yeah,
she
right.
wasn't. She's not a housewife. She was at the party. That was her business party. Remember, it was her. Like, wasn't it her party at that they came in, and then the husband at Die Hard because it's in that building.
And that's where we learned.
So she's the professional businesswoman.
Yeah, so I think it's a great movie on your list. Yeah, Family Man. I don't know what that one is.
Family Man has Nicolas Cage. So Nicolas Cage is this rich guy, and he goes into this.
Less than 10 years old?
No, it's probably longer than 10 years old.
Go ahead.
So he goes into this place to go buy something and ends up in this car or whatever, but he ends up going back into a new life. Wakes up and he's got a wife and kids. And he's this big rich guy, and now he has a wife and kids, and he's a car salesman, and he works for her dad or something. And it's just this thing about how he meets his girl, and I'm not going to ruin it for you, but it's just one of those good feel things, and it kind of takes around Christmas, where he's out and falling in love with someone, but he's married to someone that he used to date, and it's one of those things where how like they were together and then they went apart because they wanted to be professional, and then it's kind of like a dream sequence
You
one.
sure this isn't a Hallmark one?
No.
I'm kidding.
That's not.
So it reminds me a little bit of just the echoing A Christmas Carol, where he kind of sees other opportunities.
No, he actually lives it. So he wakes up and he's like,
yeah,
he's
but it
like,
just reminds me of that. What
where am I
may have
at?
been, appreciate what happened.
Yeah, exactly. He learns how to do all that. And then my favorite is Muppet Freaking Christmas Carol.
It was on the list, and honestly, I can't.
Oh my gosh, I have
I'm
it.
sure I've seen parts of it, or maybe even seen all of it before.
It's so funny. It's so funny. It's just hilarious. So you have to watch that one. A Christmas Kiss. Now, this was a Hallmark one. They took it off. I literally just bought it the other day for $4.86 off of Amazon because it is my favorite.
You're like, it's not on there anymore.
Last year it wasn't on there, and I'm like, what? They have like Christmas Kiss 2 is on here. So then you had to buy it, and it was like $8.
You're like, wait a second, Sensibility and Snowman's on this thing, but not Christmas Kiss.
And anyway, so it's a really good one too. It's not fake, like it's kind of fake, but it's more realistic of a couple falling in love and finding true love versus whatever. So that was a good one.
Scrooge, good one. With
that's
Bill
my favorite.
Murray.
I literally have bought that twice. I think I have 2 of them around here. I've
never seen it. I know, I get those looks when I talk about movies I haven't seen.
So
if I've seen it, I've only seen snippets of it because my sisters had on a movie channel or something like that. I've definitely never watched that end to end.
I'm giving him a dead stare right now.
Oh man, I am in trouble.
You are in trouble. You got to watch Scrooge. Elf, of course, that's fun. Miracle on 34th Street, the original, because there's 2 of them. I like the other one, but the original reminds me of going to my grandma's house.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
And
it was really good.
But they played it every holiday season. So at my grandma's house, that's what we would watch. So that kind of reminds me, Jack Frost the cartoon. Not the Jack Frost, the real one. Jack Frost, the flippin' cartoon, like the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Snowman, Frosty the Snowman. Jack Frost is the best one.
Oh, okay.
He comes to life because he falls in love with the little girl who falls in love with the prince, and then there's the bad guy.
So this isn't from that set of from the 60s and 70s.
Yes.
It was from that set where they had a lot of those
it's from the older set. And then Home by Christmas is a movie that my daughter and we came upon, and it's got what's her name from the Terminator? Linda Hamilton.
Yeah.
Linda Hamilton's in it, and she's this rich lady, and she donates all of her stuff, and her husband comes home and says, I want a divorce, and basically she loses everything, and she's got a snotty ass little daughter, and Linda's acting is not the best in this. It's not the best acting, but the storyline is really, really good about having all this stuff and how her friends were, they're not her friends anymore. So she has to make new friends because the snotty little bitches over at the club, she's now getting divorced and blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
She's suddenly underneath them in class.
So she meets another homeless lady that's really smart and was down on her luck, and the 2 of them kick butt. Period.
Nice.
So it's a good one. And then, of course, Holiday in Handcuffs.
Okay, I don't need to know about whatever if that's
Holiday
your thing.
in Handcuffs. Yeah. Actually, that's got Mario Lopez in it. And,
that's why you like it.
And I can't remember what the other girl's name is, but anyway, she's got a family Christmas she has to go to, and her mom and dad are pretty much insistent she can't do anything right, and so she basically kidnaps Mario and takes him as her boyfriend, and is like kidnaps him with this little gun thing from the store. And
as in, you're going to go home so that
you're going home with me,
so
and you're not going to tell him that. And he keeps telling the family, she's like, she kidnapped me. And she's like, isn't he so cute? He likes to play these games. And they're like, oh my God, you're so great. And everything he does, nobody believes him. But then it has a really good ending, and it's about falling in love. So anyway, those are my movies.
Yeah, those sounds good. And then what about the some of the specials, like Charlie Brown Christmas?
Okay, so I like Charlie Brown Christmas.
That's the one where he has a really lame little tree.
Yeah.
And if you want to know about early Tyson interests, always been the little smart kid in the room.
Aww.
And so
the little nerdy smart kid.
It's really
in the room.
when you're a little kid and you got plays in elementary. It's not necessarily who could act this. It's like who would probably be nerdy enough to memorize all these lines.
Were you the teacher's
So I
pet?
got to be Charlie Brown.
Were you the
Charlie
teacher's
Brown's
pet?
Christmas. I don't know about that. I never tried to suck up to... In fact, sometimes I would, kind of like, well, why does this... And I don't think that's right. That type of thing.
You challenge the teachers.
Yeah, but it was always that I was always paying close attention, so
Right.
I think they appreciated that, but I was never like the teacher's pet, because I like, screwing around a little bit with classmates and stuff too, so... Not way overboard, but I like, joking around. I didn't like to be the class clown, but if somebody distracted me, that type of thing. So, yeah, I was Charlie Brown in a Charlie Brown Christmas.
I always would...
Elementary version, which probably lasted 15 minutes or something.
I liked all of them. The Rudolph and all of the claymation ones that we used to have.
'Cause that's the other thing I was going to say is Rudolph.
Those were just so good.
Well, Rudolph had that, and until I watch it, I kind of forget where the extra characters and scenes fit, and that's where it had the Misfit toys.
Yeah.
Which is cool. My favorite, although I'd forgotten that Rudolph had the Misfit toys and all that Yukon Jack and whatever. And otherwise, the one that I didn't forget had that, except I forgot what special it would be. It was A Year Without Santa Claus.
Yes.
That's Heat Miser and Cold Miser.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
I love that one. That just grabbed my attention. Of course,
yeah, I like that one too.
The Frosty where he actually melted or came close to melting.
Oh yeah, no, he does melt, but then he has the special Santa Claus comes in and saves his life.
But yeah, as to the Heat Miser one, so I think everybody liked that one because they were cool. The one guy had
right.
So
in Mother Nature,
I've got a coworker who's good natured, good humored, and she talks about having menopause. And one time I said, hey, what about you should put up like a cartoon of Heat Miser or something really mad. It feels really hot. She did.
She did.
She did. So after she laughed about that, because she, just self-deprecating about the fact that it's grouchy and it's hot and all that.
Right.
Then I'm like, hey, here's a pic. So I found it on the internet and just, I shared the link with her. She put it up there. Finally, our boss said, I don't really like that up there. So but she left it up there. It's like, that's like, am I in a, like a menopausal hot flash type grouchy mood or something like that. That's pretty funny.
Well, what about Santa Claus is Coming to Town?
Yeah.
That's the one where he put one foot in front of the other.
So it definitely had a musical aspect. That sounds familiar, but I'm not thinking of the exact plot.
It was the one where he went into the town and brought toys, and then the mean guy banned the toys, and he met the girl, which would be his wife.
That sounds more familiar.
But then he would go through the woods, and it had the snow creature, the big snow creature.
Oh, that was so cool.
And he's like, you can't come here! And then he gave him a toy, and it melted him. And then he was like...
Was this where they had young... There's one where they had the young man Santa Claus.
Yeah, because they delivered him as a baby, and he was young, and he had a red hair.
Yeah.
And then they did that, and then he would put him in the stockings, and then they would go, oh, is that why they put it in the stockings? It had the kids in the back.
I need to see that one again.
Yeah, that's a good one.
As to the Heat Miser, Cold Miser, here's a little interesting fact. That there's some live action one put out, I don't know, in the last decade or so, where it says something like the Miser Brothers Christmas.
I've heard of that.
And so it's got Michael McKean, which is a guy who was Lenny off Laverne and Shirley.
Uh-huh.
And Mighty Wind and, those mockumentaries like A Mighty Wind. That guy, Michael McKean, who's been in everything, and his brother. And he played the either the heat miser or the cold miser. I can't remember which. So, yeah, I didn't know that there was a live action one too. But that's
awesome.
always the one that captured my attention. Imagination the most. Was
Right.
Heat. But then I go back and watch the Rudolph, and that's great. And the one you're talking about, where it's a young Kris Kringle,
Yeah.
growing up, I can see how they made him look. And of course, when you're a kid, maybe not now because the special effects are just so crazy. But that stop action stuff
Right.
just kind of really drew your attention that it wasn't a cartoon.
Right. There's the
it's so
claymation
cool.
kind of a stuff. Yeah. Now, the one thing that I could literally watch, and I will do this, is I will watch A Christmas Carol, 12 different ones. There's one with Henry Winkler. There's one from 1932. There's one from 1948.
There's one from with George C. Scott or
yeah,
something.
I watch them all. So what I do is I go to Amazon, I go to Netflix, and for one day I will literally start and I will just watch every single one of them. Same story. I'll watch them all day long. That's just what I love to do.
The Miracle on 34th Street, is that the one where they actually have the court case?
Yes.
That's such a cool scene where, no spoilers, listen, it's only from 1937 or some crap.
Right.
No spoilers, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
More like
Spoiler alert.
More like
Alert.
decade alert. Come on, man. If you tune out for the spoiler, well, your brain's spoiled.
Exactly.
Anyway, but regarding that, the scene where all of a sudden all the mail shows up there.
Oh, at the very end.
Ah,
I know. Or when they go to the house and the key's there and it's like their house and they're looking through the house. The Miracle on 34th Street because she wanted a house. The whole thing is about the house at the very end.
Oh, okay. You've only seen parts of it.
He is such a nerd.
Just put on my glasses and did bucktooth while I said that. She really liked it.
Yeah.
Hey, I know another, speaking of great Christmas movies. What about Revenge of the Nerds? It's not a Christmas movie at all. I'm just joking around.
But that would be a great one to do, the Revenge of the Nerds.
Revenge of the Nerds. A Christmas. Revenge of the Nerds Christmas.
They could do one of the It's a Wonderful Life. It's a Wonderful Life, or not a It's a Wonderful Life. The Christmas story one. You know, like where they have to go back, and each of the nerds is a different ghost or something.
Ogre. Ogre plays Santa Claus. He's big, and he's like older ogre or something like that. No, when I was thinking of being sarcastic, I'm like, what movies would be like, this is the exact opposite of Christmas. So when you mentioned that's the only one I came off the cuff just now. But, some of Harry Potter stuff, isn't that almost like...
Harry Potter came out every November for the
that
movies.
Was part of it.
That
a lot of times it was... Did they show them almost in between semesters for some reason? Why are you still hanging out? Shouldn't you go home? Or I don't remember those because I didn't watch
I think they
them.
normally did go home. Normally it was Christmas break, and that's when when they left, and there were other adventures that were happening. But I think I don't think it really had too much to do with Christmas as opposed to when the movies came out. It came out in November, right? Because I've seen every movie, I've read every book, so.
I just kind of feel like it seems like some of them had snow scenes, but maybe I'm just mistaking just a very few scenes as a regular pattern, and it wasn't. So
I mean, they had every movie was kind of like a semester, so I mean a year of school. So
yeah,
I mean there would be there'd be a winter in there at some point.
Oh, okay. And the other thing was, you're going to talk about music, I think. Did we mention that much? I don't really listen to Christmas music.
No, I talked about it.
Okay.
I was just talking about how people complain about Christmas music. I don't have any favorite Christmas. I mean, Bing Crosby used to, when I was listening to Christmas music as a child, we have the album Bing Crosby.
So what was fun when in radio was that at some point, as long as you did it sensibly, you start blending in some Christmas music.
Right.
And then at some point, some stations would go, this day we're going wall-to-wall Christmas.
24 hours. Now it's literally starting, one of our stations, they just have nonstop Christmas now. It's just all Christmas. Just all Christmas.
From when to when?
Now it's already started. Like KM, like I don't know if it was, I don't know which station it was, because someone the other day goes, "Don't kill me, but I've already turned on my such and such Christmas station," and I was like,
I was okay with it, and as long as it was short, and ours is a specialty. It was a niche. It was old country music.
right,
So some of that stuff was, pretty sweet music and everything, like sentimental and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to listen to it all the time, but I'm okay with the Christmas music. And I do, what we'll do during Christmas, because we end up having just like 3 generations of people coming, because my mother lives with my aunt. So it's still kind of base of operations for the extended family.
right.
Which my side hasn't done their job, but the other side is kind of like rabbits. Sorry. No, seriously, there's, their kids have kids, and those kids have boyfriends and girlfriends. It's, or at least they have little ones running around. And so what my mom likes to do, and I really like too, actually, is when we're there, if we're doing anything like, putting up the tree or taking down the tree or getting the rest of the stuff ready, we'll just, or that day, turn off the TV, just literally go find some Christmas music CDs like Mannheim Steamroller.
Yep, I love that.
And put it in the the real life physical CD player. And just remember the old ones where you can put like, it'd be like a spin of CDs.
Mine's like
you can
a
just
cartridge.
Go random. Yeah.
Mine's a cartridge. I put.
Well, this is just a rotating table. You can go random and go, okay, let's go to disc 5 and pick track 2, and we'll put a couple Mannheim Steamrollers in there, maybe some older stuff, but I really like the
Yeah, that's I have that.
And I like that would put me, that keeps me in the mood. And I like that better than some TV droning in the background.
That's what I do with when I put my Christmas tree up.
Perfect.
The music goes on. It's just loud music, and I play my Christmas music, and I put up my tree, and I'm like, and then I go get hot chocolate. I've got my fireplace going, and I just make, and then like, that's about an hour, and then I'm done.
Yeah, so in that regard, I like Christmas music at its time and place.
Right.
And, I'm definitely not a hater. It's just, like I said, locally, I don't have a lot attached as far as what I would even be doing on that day.
Right.
Yeah, so oftentimes I'll buy fairly late. It's like, I'll literally wrap when I get down there a couple days before Christmas. Can't do that this year because it kind of falls in a weird spot in the week.
Right.
Where's it fall?
I don't know.
I think it's a Wednesday. So it doesn't like easily fall towards. A lot of times when it's on Thursday, you'll get the Friday off. I think it might be a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird. So we're going to be getting down there at a weird time, and my sister has changed careers, and so she doesn't have the usual timeline off. So we can't even leave there, and if I go down with her until Christmas Eve. So, but that'd be perfect. Like Christmas Eve, we'll turn on Christmas music in the car because we always share rides down there.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward. I don't know if we made enough of a flavor of Christmas, but that's okay. It's not coming out we're not releasing this in mid-December.
No, this is November.
This is kind of the first.
This is the start of the complaining season. It's kind of what this season is about. I want people to remember that don't complain about stuff. Just enjoy the time. You don't have to stress out about it. Medicate yourself if you need to for your family. Get a flask if you need to drink. I mean, they're out there. It's Christmas.
It'll warm the cockles of your heart.
Yes, do something. But, reality is that we're in the holiday season. So when this episode comes out, it's right before Thanksgiving. Make sure that you support those ma and pa places. Think outside the box when it comes to Christmas. If you don't know what people want, find out. Don't waste money. It's not a competition, and if it is a competition, lose it. It's okay. I'd rather lose it than have to spend $500.
You know what one of the only great things about a family member goes through a tough financial time is that's the reminder to let them know that they don't need to buy you anything.
Right.
And then over a period of time, if sometime in that your family member that you used to at first, you first became an adult, I've got money. I get to spend I actually get to spend my own money on Christmas gifts. And then before you know it, it's like, wow, I'm like down $1,000. I could have maybe, so unless that was, well spent, and it was really what they liked, it's like, did you even need to spend that? But once you go through that, it really does become more voluntary.
Right.
And I think people appreciate it more. Like I've had a family member go through, a couple bad years financially, and it's like, I'm really good with you giving me nothing.
Right.
And it didn't come to that, but I think it made them understand that they didn't have to, there's pressure off of them. Because that's one thing you don't want, especially when you have a family and young kids, it's got to be rough sometimes, right? And I've actually in a previous lifetime had a family, but it's another whole story. Is you want to not disappoint the kids, so it becomes a little bit different. Comes a little bit easier when they're not in the house anymore,
right?
Or you don't have any kids. But even then, for me, it's almost like a lesson. Okay, you're not in trouble. You're not in trouble. But next time you open a present in front of anybody, you put on a happy face because they gave you something.
Right.
You do not show disappointment. You don't throw it across the.
Oh yeah, that would not happen. That would not happen. It's like you are appreciative. I can just remember being around some people and there was like, what are you doing today? Oh, I'm returning this. I cannot believe he did this and this and this. Okay, well, first of all, that's just rude. I don't understand.
It's okay to return it, but not have the tone. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I'm saying it's like just go take it. Well, I have to go, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? If you would have given him a better, clearer list of what you wanted, then maybe he wouldn't have bought you something that you didn't want.
But mind reading?
Yeah. So, yeah. And so, like, last year was really my daughter's very first year that she had a job, and she actually went out and she bought gifts. Normally, it's just something really small or whatever. And I always kind of joke about it because, like, you go and you buy these kids something, and then I open it up, and one year I got scrunchies. For the scrunchies that she had taken from my house. I was like, my scrunchies are gone. I need them back. I got them back. She wrapped them. I mean, they were new, but it was just kind of a joke because I didn't expect her to buy me anything. But her little sarcasticness, she went and bought me new ones, and that's what I got literally for Christmas. And she was like, "Here you go. I knew you needed scrunchies." Like, yeah, because you stole all my scrunchies. So we joke about it, but I don't expect her to buy me anything. But it was nice that last year she actually listened and went out and bought something.
If you get something, here's what I wouldn't mind.
Right. And the thing is that if you find pleasure in buying it for someone, that's what I do. I have friends that
Then you don't look at the net differential. It's not a math contest.
I don't even get, I have a friend who was going through a divorce, and it was not a good divorce. And he has 2 children. And so for for 2 or 3 years, I think it was 3 years, I went and bought gifts for him and gave them to my friends. And I said, tell him to put these under the Christmas tree. So when he wakes up in the morning, he's got a surprise because nobody else is going to think about it. He never got me anything. He never even knew who the gifts were from. For 1 year, I just said, give these to him and just say, this is from Santa. Put it under the tree. And it was just little gadgets and stuff like that I knew that he would enjoy. Socks, because he loves to wear the goofy looking socks and stuff like that. But reality is that when I was single and I was going through my divorce, my friend Terry always went out and bought me different small, probably all of $10 worth of stuff from the Dollar Tree or whatever. But she would go and she'd buy me stuff and she would say, open this up with Chelsea in the morning, because Chelsea's a child. She's not going to buy it. Instead of me going out and buying my own stuff, she always bought my stuff from Santa Claus. And so I always would have something to open up Christmas morning. She always did that for me. That's what I like to do. It was like, I want to make sure I don't want anything for myself. So I find somebody. So if you know somebody that's going through a divorce and it's just them, go buy a few things. Go buy a few things and just give it to them and say, this is for Christmas morning. Because that way then they have something to open up with their kids. They can put it out and it's from Santa.
And they didn't have to pay for it just so their
They
kids
didn't
could buy
pay
them
for
a
them,
gift.
right? And so, or take their kids out and do that. I've done that before too, where I'm like, I need to borrow your kids. We're going to go to a movie, and then I went out and I said, let's pick your dad something out for Christmas. And then I kept it, and then I hid it, and I literally was like, went over there with it in my car and waited till they were turned around, put it under the Christmas tree, so he didn't even know. Put it, I like to do those kind of things. That's what I like to do. So anyway.
One other thing about just buying specific things, I know we're trying to wrap this up, is that I'm not a big Amazon person, but everybody knows they got a good wish list, function. And I first did this about 3 years ago, and I can't say. Other bad thing is when you have the wish list, you're like, I kind of have one if you'd look at that wish list I gave you. But that's another thing. You can easily get this little app add-in for your browser, and it's called Add to Amazon List. And you can go to any old website, and you can use that little add-in. And when you use that function with this add-in, it will then add it to your regular wish list on Amazon, even if it's not sold on Amazon. Nice. So let's say I got some site where it's some weird specialty DVD about Stanley Kubrick and his filmmaking, and it's not really sold usually in many places. And I go, well, I don't know if it's on Amazon. I don't care, but I know I just found it just now, so I want to add it to the wish list.
Right.
And I don't know if it does this, but it's possible that it does an automatic look for Amazon at the time.
Right.
But that way you don't have to go, well, look at my Amazon wish list, but I also like this separately, which is really, really cool and a niche thing, but it's over here, so remember that website.
Right, not just going to all go into one place. That's awesome. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, so what's on your Christmas list this year?
So far, it's a great question. What is on my Christmas list? Always books, because I have too many books. But I just love the idea of, should the apocalypse happen, that the beginning of seeding and restarting civilization could happen because someone steps into my library. I think sometimes that's part of the justification. I'm like, why do I have all these books? It's like, so we can start to recreate the seeds of history right here.
Should we, one day we'll have to go over...
Kindles don't work anymore, man.
Yeah, exactly. Well, at least
batteries are all dead.
I've got my bookshelf.
We should talk about that. So a lot of books on there, and other than that, I can't remember what I added. A few kind of weird, like some exercise stuff that's like home gym type stuff, and a few other things. I was just literally looking at the other day because I was going to remind my sister. Yeah, I do have one, because she'd ask, "Hey, I want to start shopping early. Where's what's your stuff?" And I said, "Well, my wish list. It's up there, but too much of it's books. I need to get more creative, probably.
Right.
Some cool DVDs and things, too, like specialty DVDs, like I said.
It depends on if I get my bathroom done. If I don't get my bathroom done before Christmas, I need Home Depot gift cards.
There you go.
To go do my bathroom
And
downstairs.
my mother loves Kindle, so for her, even though it's the usual, she loves a gift card.
Yeah.
For her Kindle, and I would take some of those, like you said, and I've been thinking about this, but I forgot to say it. I have to wear at least work casual, so I wear slacks a lot. It's just the fun dress socks, just like what you said.
Yeah, the fun socks are awesome. Those are easy, especially if you start that, then that's so easy for people to buy you a gift, because they'll be like, oh, he likes these socks. And then you can get the...
And it's not like when I think we've mentioned, but maybe not on the air. Once you become known in the family or whatever as the person who just loves cows, then you have 3 billion cows. You're like, gosh, I wish I never said the word cows to anybody.
That's up on my top shelf, those little collectible doll things. That's like 2 years. And I was like this.
It's like, great.
And now I'm done.
Okay, guys, I don't like cows anymore. Appreciate it. No, seriously. I'm into something else, and I'm not going to tell you. But with socks, it's just like, well, whatever. They're in a drawer, and they're all different. It's not like they're all zebra socks.
I collect $100 bills, just to let you know.
There you go. That's one bad thing about being a kid, though, is that, boys usually have the cheaper collectibles.
Yeah.
The girls are like...
Not all the time.
Well, my experience was that, you get the cool little horse figures that are whatever, I can't, Briar or something anyway, that are $25 a piece. And I get 3 Hot Wheels, 99 cents a piece. Great. So what holds it? Listen, I got plenty of good Christmas stuff. Don't get me wrong. I got great Christmases. But I remember how her collectibles would be like, those are some nice, like, value, lasting type true collectible stuff.
Right.
And I just get, like, toys and stuff.
Toys.
So unless I didn't play with the Hot Wheels, it's like, yeah, if you want to keep them in a package. But I wasn't in, like, I'm actually a 25-year-old nerd, and I don't want to touch the packaging. So, I would use it, but I don't know. So you didn't have that experience.
No, it was. I didn't collect anything like...
Yeah, I got great stuff. I don't mean to say
my
otherwise.
collectible things were keychains and combs. Back in the day, remember we had the big rectangle, big pocket combs, and they had they had like pictures and stuff on them.
And keychains?
And I would collect keychains
Just
everywhere
like fun
I went.
keychains?
Like I have a whole box of keychains. Every time I would travel, I'd always buy somebody's keychain. I got a baseball keychain and a football keychain and a hat. I don't know, just keychains. Just
my
ridiculous.
dad had you're a traveler, so his big deal was shot glasses. He had a great shot glass collection.
I started that.
And then they got broke or something. It's weird. He doesn't, I can't remember what happened to him, but I say a grade. I mean, he'd get him when he actually went somewhere. So he wasn't a normal traveler, but he traveled plenty. You know, it wasn't like all the time, so... He had dozens of them anyways.
I started that, and then people started buying me shot glasses, and I was like, no, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. I get this when I travel, and I just kept getting, I'm thinking, all right, I'm getting crappy gifts now because people think I want these shot glasses, and I don't. And so I have a box of them here, or I might have donated them. I don't know.
But they're kind of cool because you can put them in shadow boxes. Remember shadow boxes? They still have those? Remember shadow boxes? Kids, this is where you would actually capture your shadow. You put it in a box.
Yeah, exactly. Or you buy little things and put it in little shelves.
Yeah.
That was so cute.
It's a little, and do you remember way back, I'm talking way back, speaking of great Christmases and collectibles, do you remember like the 1/12 scale doll houses? Mm-hmm. They had wiring in them and everything, and little furniture.
I wanted them so bad.
My sister had that.
Okay, she was spoiled. I begged for that. I don't think I would have played with it because I didn't like dolls, but I wanted it because it was freaking cool with all the little... I liked all the little furniture.
It had wiring in it. You could put like the lamps, and it'd be like just a strip, like positive on one side, negative on the other, and just these two lines that would go along the wall or underneath. And if you clip the thing right, like the little lamp would light up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you'd have like a fancy formal room and the fancy formal little furniture. I just captured my imagination because it was all 1/12 exactly.
Right.
So I love that. I mean, I had Hot Wheels. Excuse me. No, Star Wars. I had a pretty good Star Wars collection.
Yeah,
so
my cousin
I could never
bought a
complain
house.
about my Christmas, to be clear.
Yeah.
It just didn't quite have the value of some of the cool collectibles. It's kind of like how what do women get? They get, listen, guys get their own, but when they buy big giant ticket electronics, don't get me wrong, but like jewelry. Jewelry in total collections, that's a lot of money sitting in your jewelry, your little standing jewelry boxes with the little drawers.
No jewelry for me. None. See that? None. I'm not a jewelry person. I'm allergic to all of it. I'm a high dollar jewelry person on a low end budget, meaning I don't wear jewelry.
Yeah, well, you're that's an exception for sure.
Yeah,
but
that
anyway,
and flowers. I can't do jewelry or flowers because I'm allergic to flowers and I'm allergic to jewelry. So really, all I can have is chocolate.
You must draw no nonsense boyfriends by the dozen.
I'm like, here's the deal. I don't need jewelry and I don't need flowers. First of all, flowers are a waste of money.
Sign me up.
But I can have some chocolate. I'll eat candy.
Good. Yeah, flowers. Yeah, they're dead.
They just die. I'm like, that's a waste of money. But it's the thought. No, think about this. Just hand me the cash.
$50. You want to give me a thought? Give me a thought made of a $50 bill.
Exactly. That's a thought. Don't give the florist
It's
the money.
green too.
Exactly. Very true.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for giving us this time. We appreciate our listeners. Make sure to comment on our Facebook group, Chemology 411. If you haven't joined yet, you really should. Thank you, Tyson, for helping make Chemology 411 so awesome.
I don't have anything to say. I think we've talked enough, and I like it here and stuff. I'm going to go Christmas shopping and finish the rest of that.
He's got to go.
That better not be an Impossible Burger.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're probably going to head to the gym now that you...
Listen, I am allergic to plants. Kidding. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Kim. No, thank you.
Oh, no, thank you. All right, we'll talk soon. Please make sure to keep going on all your adventures. Bye-bye, guys.